How important do you think a family structure is to society? Vital. Societies tend to disintegrate soon after the family unit is broken apart. Removed. Well, cough cough, maybe it has something to do with something. Something statistics. Something. Not in the slightest. Family doesn't define you, but it guides you until you can think for yourself. The rest is all on you, man. All up probably 30%. It is how children are produced and raised. So without it, society would cease. There are no orphanages anymore in the US and most westernized states. They are terrible for children. Orphans are put into foster care to be with a family. Humans just do better in families. I feel very important. Children need to have a stable family to be raised with so that they can become independent and functioning adults later on. If a society is full of adults that can't function within it, then it begins to break down. It is 100% the most important part of society. As we can see, shit kids equals shit future. Family is very important. It provides a fundamental sense of security to the individual. Depends on how you define family structure. I think it really depends on how the family functions. Like, you can have a child with two parents that neglect children and it won't turn out good. But you can have a single caring parent and a network of support from other family members. Aunts, uncles, grandparents, etc. and be just fine. The best family structure probably is having two caring parents. Mom, dad, mom, mom, dad, dad, whatever. But it really comes down to if the child's needs are being met, including emotionally, which can be equally achieved if you have a solid broader family structure. I think it's almost too late to ask that. It's just becoming less likely or necessary as other things have been prioritized as the foundation of society. In my opinion, we've prioritized individualism and corporate structures so much the family unit is in the background. What exactly do you mean by family structure? This feels more like an assignment. I actually agree with most conservatives that having two parents is probably better than one. But where I disagree is that I don't think those two people need to be different genders, or even need to be legally married. Sometimes people label variations on tradition as social experimentation. I would like to remind folks that everything is a social experiment. Humanity is making it up as we go along. The world is a mess. So I don't think that we've hit upon the answer quite yet. The movie Mrs. Doubtfire taught us that there are all kinds of families, each of which is legitimate. So I don't think OP is asking us to choose between those families, but to consider family versus some radically different concept. I don't know the answer, but I don't think any of us should be guilty of contempt prior to investigation. Extremely important. But family is not just nuclear families. Really, it's any group that loves and cares for each other like a family. Hard to define, but you know when you've found it. The structure of it doesn't matter so much, but kids do need stabilizing figures. I can't remember where it was exactly, but there was a practice not too long ago where orphanage workers were swapped out regularly so that none of the orphans could grow to strong attachment to them, which was not good for them. I believe it was in native residential schools or orphanages in Ireland years ago, but I can't remember which off the top of my head. Might have been both. I actually think the family system we have is wrong and partially to blame for many cultural and psychological issues. I believe very firmly in the notion that it takes a village to raise a child, and I think children are grossly overtaught the importance of blood relatives. It's nice for a child to have two parents. But it's vital for a child to have peers. To have real role models that are chosen and not assigned. And to feel like part of a community and not just a household. Children need to feel like adulthood means coming into the fold with everybody else. And not abandonment and isolation.